How dangerous are drones really? Let's find out. This is the DJI Air 3S, a pretty standard drone that anybody could buy. And there are safety rules and procedures that people are supposed to follow to keep anybody from being hurt. But I know myself, I've done some things I shouldn't, like hand launching and hand landing drones. And all it takes is a stiff breeze or you hit the control wrong and it could come at you and potentially cause some serious damage here. So this blade right here is about 4 inches. It's plastic thin, so it doesn't have a lot of mass to it, and it kind of folds, which I would imagine will get some little leeway here. Now, every drone blade might be different. There's some that are carbon fiber and solid. I imagine that can really do some damage. The blades can spin up to 20,000 RPMs a minute, which is insane, and you don't want this coming at you at 20,000 RPMs. I picked out a variety of things to test out, but this is the one I am most excited about here. This is a ballistic hand, and it's supposed to mimic the human body. So there's a gel here that's supposed to be about the firmness and consistency of your hand. There's some bones in there you can see. So this would be a good way to see really how much damage it can do to your hand. Probably the part of your body that's most likely to be hurt with a drone. Next we have here is, oh, this one's going to be really cool. I'm not going to say what it is yet. But we're going to see the potential effects on our eyes. Let's see how much damage these blades can do. I got the drone set up. I'll show it to you here. I have this very sophisticated system here. I zip tied the drone to this stand I found around my house. Make sure there's enough clearance for the blades to spin. Let's see if it's going to work. I'm going to start nice and easy with a piece of paper. There shouldn't be any problem for the blade there. I imagine it's going to be a nice clean cut, but let's find out. The paper did better than I thought it would. It wasn't taking any damage until it got caught up in the propellers, and then it got torn to pieces. But up until then, it was just kind of bouncing off, which was surprising. Now to kick it up a notch from the paper, we're gonna go with a banana, Fruit Ninja style. I think it's gonna be able to go through the peel. How much more it's gonna slice through, I'm not sure. Only one way to find out. The banana did better than I thought it would. This gash right here is at the lower RPMs, but when I pushed up on the throttle, it took a pretty good gash out of it. So this would definitely break the skin. What about if you get your wiener caught in the blade? The wiener did not fare well at all. At the lower RPM, it took a pretty good gash out of it that was in line with the propeller. When I pushed up on the throttle, it really started to eat through it. So the hot dog did not do well. Next is the ballistic hand, and I've never seen one of these in real life. It is actually pretty cool. It has all the hand bones in there. This is a right hand right here. The gel is kind of firm like a hand, and even has little lines in there that were somewhat similar to fingerprints. And we're going to try different points in the hand. We're going to try the fingers. We're going to try down here in the palm and see how well the hand stands up. The ballistic hand. I was really curious how this one's going to come out. So at the lower RPM, I went on the pinky side here, and there is about 3 gashes here where the joint is for the pinky, and it's actually, I can feel the bone when I put my finger in here, so it can definitely slash deep enough to get to the bone. But let me see if I can get in there, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but when I got in there here, let's see, pull away some of this gel. Yeah, there we go. So it cut through to get to the bone, but there's no nicks or anything like that to show that it could do any damage to the bone. Okay, when I upped the rotation per minute, I took on the thumb side here, and these are actually some pretty significant gashes, if you can see there. Over the pinky, there were more thin slices. This one actually started to kind of really make some real deep gashes into it and kind of eat it up a little bit, and it's definitely down to the bone, so this is quite a bit deeper here than your pinky, so you're definitely going to need stitches if it were to hit you right around in here. And there's several, about 3 or 4 pretty deep gashes that it got to the thumb there, kind of got caught up in there and kind of ate away. As far as the overall palm, there's a few slices that kind of bounced off of the palm, so I can see a few slices here. They're not very deep, more superficial. It never got really deep into the palm, and that's because the drone started kind of move around and stuff in its harness. So I imagine if it was a drone that was flying, and it could definitely really get into your palms, even though it didn't show it here. The blades are definitely going fast enough that you're gonna get deep cuts into your skin, and you're gonna need stitches, but no sign of it being able to actually do any damage to the bone. I had to put some gloves on for this next one. So I figure, besides for your hands, the next place that you're really going to be put at risk with these blades is your eye. And now, how are you going to be able to figure out how much damage these could potentially do to your eye? That's a little tricky. I couldn't get my hands on any human eyeballs, but I was able to find this. These are cow eyeballs, kind of like what you would get for science class in middle school or high school for doing dissections. So this is the best I could come up with. So we're gonna see how this goes. Let's see, opening this thing up here. Oh. Oh. Ugh. Okay, so we're gonna see how well it does. They're kind of firm, feels a little squishy, little hollow. Cows' eyes are pretty tough, especially if they've been soaking and whatever it is they use to preserve them. So it didn't really break through. So it definitely got some gashes in there, but it wasn't hard enough to break through. I am sure a human eye would fare a lot worse than the cow eye and do some real damage here. But it stood up a lot more than I was expecting it to. The propeller took some pretty good damage here. So there's color at the end of the tips, and they are completely gone. Compare that to the undamaged side. So it took off the color here, maybe lost about a quarter of an inch maybe on the end, and the controller was giving me warnings that the propeller may be damaged, and it is right. I never got it to the point where I could get in to really get these edges, so the edges are perfect, but the tips are completely gone. After conducting this little experiment, I decided I'm no longer going to be hand launching my drone. It's not worth the risk. You can easily get a finger and it can take a pretty good chunk out of it. You're most likely going to need stitches. If for some reason it comes towards your face, oh boy, your eyes are done. So it's not worth it. I'm going to launch it from a safe distance from now on.